Rukan, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how you can use Firebase authentication in React. So this is the V9 version 9 of Firebase. So I think, much as I know, they did change a few things in version 9, including authentication. So I'm just here to show you the new way of doing this. So in this today's tutorial, I'll be using code-sandbox, which is free. You can use any IDE or any online IDE you want. But for this tutorial, I'll be using code-sandbox, and yeah, and it's very good, and it works perfectly fine, and it even has a React developer tools, so that's good. It's built in, by the way, so it's quite good. So let's get started. And let me put that down here. So go to console.firebase, go to console.firebase.google.com, hit new project, and I'm just going to name this project as Google. I'm going to hit continue. You can have this enabled or not, so I'm just going to, I'll have it on, and I'm going to hit continue, select an account, so just select default account for Firebase, and hit create project. So now just wait until the project is created. So it's almost there. Come on. Okay, good. So once your project is created, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this build, and you're gonna go to authentication and click on get started. And you should see this. So in today's tutorial, we will be working with Google, so just click on Google, hit enable. You can have a project public facing name. Okay, I'm not sure what that is. It's probably your project name. I'm just gonna keep it like this just because this is an example. So select then project support email, hit save. After you have done that, go back to Sandbox if you're using Sandbox, and copy this URL at the top. Copy, go back and click on add domain here, and paste that domain in and add. So what this is gonna do is, if you don't add this, you won't be able to authenticate. It's just gonna say unauthorized domain. This is for security, so that if someone were to get my code, okay, and try to run it on another domain, or try to run if they try to run that code on a domain with using Google authentication, Google is gonna say unauthorized domain. Okay, so if you don't, so if you're using code-sandbox, you don't you need to add this. Otherwise, if you're using localhost, then you're good. You don't have to add that. So yeah, just make sure you add that. Otherwise, it's just not gonna work. After that, go back to project overview. Here you're gonna click on web. Here you're gonna create an application or register your app. So I'm gonna call this out. I'm gonna hit register app. Okay, so go back to your, once you're here, go back and click on add a dependency and type Firebase here. Hit add, and the version is for me 9.6.1. There may be another version. By the time you're watching this, maybe there might be like 9.7.1. But yeah, so I don't think a lot of things will be changing in 9.71. I don't know if that's gonna even exist, but yeah. So go ahead and import Firebase as our dependency, and once you've done that, you're gonna go back to once you're imported Firebase, click on new file, and I'm gonna call this Firebase config.js. So this is the file where we will be configuring our Firebase. There's a few libraries, or not libraries, I'm sorry, a few things that we gotta import. So one of them is, I'll show you here, import initialize tab, I'll probably spell that wrong, from Firebase slash oops base slash app, and just to confirm that I spelled it right, initialize app, and import get auth from Firebase slash auth. Then you're gonna copy this, and if I accidentally hit continue to console, you can just go back by clicking on the settings icon and click on project settings and scroll down, and you'll see that again. Okay, so copy, paste that in here. Okay, and you're gonna do const app equals initialize app, and you're just gonna pass in Firebase config. So this Firebase config has our API key, auth, domain, project ID, and all that. If we tried using this, by the time I upload this video, these will be invalid, so I'll be deleting this project, just so that I don't want people to use my API key and all that, because after some time Google does start charging for an API, so yeah, I don't want that to happen. And one last thing you're gonna do in this file is you're gonna export something, which I'll show here. Export const auth equals get auth. We're gonna pass in the app here. And by the way, this code is coming from Firebase docs. Okay, so you can also look at their docs too if you want like a more clear explanation of this. And this is where I got their code from. So this is where I got these codes from. But you can also go back, go to Firebase docs, which if you click on go to docs, you can, or you can go to Firebase, Firebase.google.com, click on build, and there's a lot of options such as authentication and web, and just say Google sign in, and just go through that. Okay, so once you've done these in Firebase config file, go back to app, and here you're just gonna return a button. You're just gonna do a button, and I'll do this auth with Google. Okay, and I'll do a button here. Oh right, actually yes, that's why. I'm just gonna delete this import, and I'm gonna write an onClick for this, so it's gonna run a function when we click on this, and we'll do with Google. Okay, you're gonna do const, and I'll do an alert to make sure that the button is working or responding. I'll do hello world. Okay, so if I hit that, okay, so we know that the button is working. So now if you, so I want to import a few things. I want to import auth from // Firebase config, and I also want to import sign in with pop-up, and also Google Auth provider from Firebase /auth. Okay, so you'll see me doing this when I'm importing something, so I'll just retype this again with autocomplete, sign in with pop-up, and Google Auth provider. Okay, so and we're already exporting that. Okay, so inside of our function, we're gonna have a const provider equals new Google Auth provider, and you're gonna type sign in with pop-up, and we pass two things: the auth, okay, which the one we're importing, such as, so this pretty much has our like our API key, auth domain, and all that, so we're just passing that in here. Okay, and we're gonna pass in our provider, so pretty much we're saying what type of provider are we using. Okay, and we're saying, hey, we're using Google Auth provider, so we just define or pretty much API key and all that, and we just also define our provider, what type of provider we're using, which in this case we're using Google Auth provider, and this will this is also .dan, so this is a promise, and we'll do res. Oops, we'll go back. Okay, res, and make sure you do a .catch to catch any errors that may occur, and just type console.log any errors. And here just do console.log res. Okay, so if you've done everything correctly, now I'm hoping that it should work. So I'm just gonna click on Author with Google. This pops up. I choose an email, the console. Okay, yay, we did it. So the reason I'm not showing this is because it has other sensitive info like my profile pic. Well, it has my profile picture and all other things, so that's why I'm not showing. But yeah, this is a basic Google authentication you can do. You know, so now let me show you here. I'll do alert here. Auth is success. Okay, and if I were to do it again, and boom, it's gonna say auth is success. And you can also see the people who create an account. So here, this is me. That they created, what type of provider, which is in this case Google, when it was signed in, and the user UID. User UID is something that Firebase assigns to each user, so like a specific ID for every person in here. So yeah, in this version, this is the Firebase version 9.6.1. So maybe by the time you're watching this, it'll probably be another version. But you know, I think this code should work from any version, anything above maybe 9.6.0. Like I said, I'm not sure, but let's try it actually. I'm just curious real quick to see. Okay. Okay, I think it's downloading the dependencies right now. Okay. I was just curious the minimum version that this will work. Let's see, it's downloading it, but I think yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't gotta see. I think it maybe still downloading it. Oh, okay, yeah. So it doesn't work on this version, but let me see. I think it should work on this one, maybe. Okay. Yeah. So one thing that we know it doesn't. Oops. Yeah, it works on this one. So one thing that we know is oops, this is 6.1. But yeah, one thing that we know is it doesn't work anything in like this version. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions. Drop them down to the comment section. I'll try to get to them or someone else can. But yeah, I'll try to answer any questions. Let me know if you have any questions. And by the way, if you tried using these API keys and all these, they won't work because I will be deleting this project. So if you tried this and say why this is not working, because I delete the project, so this API key and all these will be invalid. Okay, so the reason I'm deleting this is because most companies or almost every company does charge for API keys after some usage limit, so I don't want to pay for that. So that's why I will be just deleting that project. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Drop them into the comment section, and wishing you luck with your codes.